Notice how we've just printed out the x values and y values of the points. But wouldn't it be nice if they printed out, if a point just didn't print out the way kind of we expected it, where it just does the parentheses, x value, comma, y value? That would just be very handy to do it. And in fact, now that we know how to overload operators, wouldn't it be great if we could do something like use that operator and then just print a point out, right? We could just print point 1 out using that operator. And that we can do that if we overload the operator cout, or this operator, right? Operator, and that's the insertion operator. Now notice that this insertion, this operator doesn't have two objects. It has an O-stream object on the left, and it has something of type point on the right. So this is a concern, right? We have, it's working with two different classes, two objects of two different types, an O-stream object on the left and a point object on the right. So since it's working with two and it needs the private data members of both, then we'll make this a friend method. So if we go back to point.h, and down here we'll go ahead and do other methods. And here we're going to want to overload this, okay? So we're going to make it a friend first. So it's going to be a friend of the point class. It'll actually belong to the O-stream class. And what this is going to do is return an O-stream object. And the reason for that is if we want to print something else out, then when this call comes back, it needs to be replaced with the cout, with the O-stream. So notice what's happening here is we're doing this call to operator insertion, and it's returning the O-stream object, cout. So that's what's happening so that you can chain it. This makes it so it can be chained. So we're going to return an O-stream object. Oh, and this one's not being found yet. So let's go up. We need to pound include. For this to work, we need to pound include IOStream. Oops, I went too far. Okay, it's an O-stream object, and we're going to return it by reference. So these are, and then the name of it is operator insertion, and it has two parameters. It has the parameter on the left. Let's see if we can get back to this. It has the parameter on the left, which is of type O-stream, and we want to pass this by reference, and it can't be constant. So O-stream, it's by reference, and it can't be constant. We're going to be making changes to it, right? We're going to be moving the pointer along and stuff, so it can't be constant. So then give it a name, whatever name you want, O-stream, and then the object on the right, in our case, is of type point. So we want to do that. Now this one can be constant because we're not making any change to that object, right? So we're going to, and it's going to be of type point, but because this is a template class, we have to specify what the type is. And here we're inside the class, so we want to do it to the variable type. So we're going to say it's on the right, it's constant type. We can do this by reference, and it's constant, so it won't be changed. And I'm just going to call this right-hand side, RHS, right-hand side. Now, there's the declaration for that. But and we could go ahead and take this and write it on outside too, but it introduces, because it's a template class and we're using this operator, it actually exposes our private data members broader than we would like. So it actually, you can create an object that works with type int, and it would then have access to even objects of type double that work with it. So that's to keep it more tight, to keep our encapsulation more tight, and we're going to go ahead and just define this locally. And if we do that, it will only be associated with the types that it is meant to be. So this is kind of an exception that we'll go ahead and implement this right here in line. And that is just, again, to keep it a little bit safer. So now we're going to use the OStream object. We called ours out. And what we're going to do is we're going to first output the parenthesis. And then we're going to output the x value. And this is the right-hand side dot x value. And then we're going to put a parenthesis comma, and then we'll do the right-hand side y value. And then we'll do the parenthesis, the closing parenthesis. Okay, and there we've printed out that point. So we created a friend method so that it has access to the private data members of both objects, right? So it has it to the OStream object and access to the point object. And then we could print out the details that we wanted. Oh, I don't want a 0 there. I want a parenthesis. Remember to shift. So I have the open paren, x value, comma, y value, close paren. All right, now let's go see how that works. So back in main, let's just simplify this a little. Let's go ahead and see out. And notice, because it's an OStream, it could be a file pointer as well. So, and we can still do the label. So we still want the label here like this. But now we can directly just output 0.1 and then endl. And let's see how that works. Let's go ahead and do it down here as well. We can do it to every one of them, right? So we can do, here we can do 0.3 and output 0.3. Here we can output 0.4. Oh, let's change the label too. So up on 0.3, I'll do that label. And we can do 0.3 again here. Okay, so it looks like we've done them, lots of them. We haven't done 2 yet. Let's go ahead and do 2. We can do 0.2. And see how this looks. Oh, here we have an error. It says no return statement in the function. Okay, remember, so let's go back and fix that. So remember that we said we were going to return an OStream object, and we never did. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll just return out is what we called it. And there. So now we 0.1, it just points it directly, 0.2, and it's printing it out the way we want. No matter what the values are, it's printing it out with parentheses and the comma between it. And it's doing it, look how easy it is to write. It's doing it directly. We just simply print out the point and no other details have to be thought about. So that makes it really handy. But overloading this operator has added one more thing we need to be aware of. And that is that now these types, whatever types are sent that want to use this class, those values have to work with the insertion operator. So we want to go up here and make sure and include that, right? This type must be able to be set to 0. It also must work with the insertion operator. Okay, there's that one more detail we want to add to let anybody who uses this class know what types will work for this class.